Winnie the Pooh. Hey guys, Jojo here, and for this movie review, we have Winnie the Pooh, the 2011 film edition based off the books from A. Mile or Mine. I don't know what again his name, but yeah. So my history with this film is actually kind of interesting because unlike other films, I actually seen this one in my early childhood, and I'll just say that my mom told me when I saw this movie, I saw it repeatedly over and over again. Yeah, I loved this movie when I was a kid, when I was a young kid. And it's definitely very nostalgic. Object. Well, since I'm more grown up now and I'm rewatching this film again, does it still hold up as one of my favorite films? Or am I noticing or did I notice something that I didn't notice when I was younger? Well, then again, I was only I think it was I don't know what age I was when I saw this movie, but let's just say that let's just say I repeatedly saw this film every time it ended. Yeah, yeah, I used to love this movie a lot. So let's take a look at the plot of the film. The plot of the film surrounds Eeyore having his tail beat about Eeyore losing his tail. So the others try to find a replacement tail. Meanwhile, Pooh is hungry. Pooh is hungry and is desperate search for honey. Honey. All the while they're in excuse me. However, Pooh finds a note on Christopher Robin's door, and they all mistake thinking they believe that the Christopher Robin has been taken by the back son, even though the letter just says "come back soon." Sounds like they misread that letter. However, Pooh ends up falling into the pit, and while the others try to get him out, they all end up in the pit. And that's pretty much the film's plot. Now, let's just get the obvious out of the way. Now, let's get some deposits out of the way. For starters, the animation is amazing. And this being Disney's last traditional animated film is definitely a way to go out. Definitely a way to go out. Well, it was a bit expected, but since this is the most recent and traditional animated Disney film, it's kind of. But they definitely did a good job with they definitely made a great job with the animation here. The character designs are fluent, and they definitely stay true to their original I'm not even gonna praise I'm even gonna praise the background. I'm even gonna praise the background animation. The background animation is really great. They didn't go so hard to try to they will. I like the design, the textures they gave for the backgrounds to make it legit a real background, having some textures and these designs for each background. Also, more far in the distance, you also got some nice water paint colors in the background to represent percent over there, especially in the fog where Piglet has to go search for Christopher Robin's jump rope in the fog. But it has some nice foggy effects along with the lighting of that I seen really well. And even though the movie kind of lacks some areas that need shading, which is kind of a big, kind of the necessity for an anime the animation is still really amazing here. I even argue it's probably the best animation from the franchise in total. Yes, unpopular opinion, but I think this movie has the best animation out of Winnie the Pooh. Pooh, don't go after me. Don't go after me. Um. Also, I also get the I also something that feels a bit off when it comes to media like this. I really love the fourth wall breaks here, and they weren't so bothersome in preschool shows. They are actually really enjoyable. Well, that's because the narrator plays a more vital part to the film, and Pooh interacting with him was really enjoyable. And the fourth wall breaks can get really funny at times, especially where narrator has to wake Pooh up, and he has to shake the book and to shake the book to wake him up, or during the song, Pooh jumps down the ladders and ends up, however, his tummy ends up causing the ladders to collapse on or Tigger trying to teach Uber to bounce, and during one of his lines, Eeyore bounces up and down, knocking the letters out of the sky. Yeah, every time the comedy really rises every time they mess around with the letters in the paragraph. But they are really enjoyable here, and I know I should be bothered by the fourth wall breaks, but they're just enjoyable. And then, like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, this movie has one of the best fourth wall breaks I've ever seen in an anime Film it's memorable and just really fun to watch. And then there are the musical numbers. I argue that Winnie the Pooh has one of the best musical numbers in most of Disney films so far. I mean, not only do they sound catchy, but they are also very memorable and just fun to listen to. And we've got a lot of catchy songs like the Tummy Song, It's Gonna Be Great, and of course, Everything is Honey. Oh, and speaking of for Everything is Honey, the animation for Everything is Honey is where the animation really shines there. Like not only is it colorfully yellow in certain areas, but they also had some but they also but they made the honey a bit more realistic while trying to keep it a bit animated, kind of make the honey realistic, and also the orchestra vibes in the beginning kind of remind our vibes from the beginning also really help things out. So yeah, I also so yeah, everything is honey. Honey definitely shines with its animation and visuals in that song as they did a great job making the honey a bit more realistic, but more CGI and it just looks visually nice from a perspective. So yeah, the musical numbers are really memorable and catchy. But arguably the best song out from the movie is actually from its soundtrack, "So Long" by Zulia Den. I'm sorry I mispronounced my name. I have horrible pronunciation. But "So Long" is hands down amazing, and arguably the best song from the soundtrack of the Film. I'm sorry, but I just love this. I love this song. It's just so catchy. Gee. And now also this movie is also pretty faithful to the original story, as the characters are still their usual self. Winnie the Pooh is still the nice, kind-hearted, lovable bear himself, who's in search for some honey. Piglet's still the worrisome, it's still his whole worrisome day. Ticker's his more energetic self. Eros is still his more depressed self. It's just and in general, most of the characters stay true to their original personalities and are still the same. 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 I hope they also have some funny moments, especially the scene where Piglet mistakes Tigger as the back son, it's just it's just no seriously. That scene where Piglet mistakes Tigger as the back son was really enjoyable, especially Piglet's reaction and Tigger, especially from the both reactions. Also, let's talk about the plot of the movie. Now, the plot of the movie is where we head into this film's issues. The plot itself is kind of the plot itself is very predictable. In fact, you can't even guess what will happen even when the events are presented. And that's they all misread the letter. They think the back can take Christopher Robin very often. Turns out, oh no, he's fine. Yeah, who could see that from a mile away? But despite the plot being a bit weaker, it's well executed very well since it has its own charm and it's very enjoyable. enjoyable, mostly because of the characters and their original personalities staying true, while also delivering some of the film's funniest moments. But but the plot, I feel like more could have been done with more of the story. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, the runtime of the movie is only 63 minutes, which isn't very long, to be completely honest. But if you remove the end credits, the film is only 53 minutes long, which isn't really good for a theatrical film, since I'm assuming the films need to be over 1 hour long to be a theatrical. I don't know, but I don't know. I don't work for these guys, but the runtime is way too short. And fun fact, there originally was supposed to be five stories based on the books from A. Myler, which originally was gonna be in the movie. In fact, I saw some deleted scenes of some parts that could have been added, like the extended version of Pooh of the Tummy song, the introduction to Rabbit's friends and relations. And Pooh trying to search for a tail for Eeyore. They were all in the bonus features of the DVD I saw yesterday. However, according to the people behind the movie, due to pacing and time issues, some scenes had to be trimmed down or be cut out entirely, which could explain why we only were left with three separate stories. I don't know if those issues weren't present, we could have seen the movie at a respectful time length. But what happened, and we just gotta deal with it. Also, let's talk about some of the voice acting. Not when we come back to the positives. I do think that the voice acting suits these characters very well. I mean, Jim Cummins is an incredible Pooh. But this before, and I do think his performance as Tigger is good, but not great since he kind of sounds a bit he can get a bit annoying at times. Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I like Jim Cummins as Tigger, but he's kind of a bit but a bit annoying at times. I thought Tom Kenny as Rabbit was good. Good. I like the voice actor who did Piglet, which definitely suits his character. I like the voice actor for Owl, and I actually think Christopher Robin's voice in this movie suits his character very well. Well, yes, he sounds a bit more childish, but I like the kid who plays him in the movie, movie, and and while the voice acting is really great for some of the characters, it can sound a bit off for some, like Tigger. Even though Jim Cummings was great as Tigger here sounds a bit irritating. Sounds a bit irritated in some areas. Especially when he's like yelling at points. And Owl scene sounds a bit off in some scenes. Especially when he's like yelling. Yeah, I said that the voice acting was great, even though it doesn't really suit, even though it can sound a bit off for most of the characters. So, that's it for my review on Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh is definitely, I consider it to be a nostalgic film for me. Sure, the plot itself is very predictable, and the runtime and the film could have added a bit more had it not been for pacing and timing issues, which could have led to a respectful length. But the animation is amazing. The voice acting does suit for some of the characters, despite some off. The musical numbers are catchy and just fun to and despite the excuse me, despite the weak plot, it's well executed, mostly because of the charm in the characters, who still have their original personalities and even could deliver some funny moments. And now I remember when I said this movie was one of my favorite movies in my childhood. Nowadays, yeah, it's still a great movie, but I don't think it's one of the best films out there. Out there. But so far, this is my favorite Winnie the Pooh incarnation of all time. All time. So far. It's enjoyable, it's memorable, it's faithful to its original counterpart. It's Winnie the Pooh. So, so I'm gonna give Winnie the Pooh. Well, it's kind of well. After I saw finish the film, I originally was gonna plan to either give it an 80 or a 90. It was kind of a hard choice, but choice because it was great, but it was but I loved it because even though it had the issues, they were still enjoyable. So like the Super Mario Brothers movie where I gave that a 75. I'm gonna do the same for Winnie the Pooh, and I'm giving Winnie the Pooh an 85 out of 100 because it's both great and amazing at the same time. Although I feel like it was more in the lines of great than more amazing. But I'm gonna put it in the middle, like saying give it an 85 out of 100. It I definitely do think Winnie the Pooh is definitely a nostalgic trip for me, and I do believe it's one of Disney's best traditional animated films of all time. So guys, that's it for my review on Winnie the Pooh. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, and I'll be sure to post more movie reviews in the future. So yeah, take care, and I'll see you guys next time. Adios.